the Action 2 versus the Hero 10. Let's do this. The Action 2 is tiny. It's made from aluminium and it feels and looks exquisitely beautiful. The Hero 10 is not so much of a looker, but more of a pragmatist. Everything about the design is there for a functional reason. The battery is removable and replacements are readily available, so in theory this camera could last for a very long time. The Action 2's battery is sealed inside and not user replaceable. So 3 or 4 years from now, when the battery no longer holds a charge, this camera might be in a landfill somewhere. The Hero 10 has a replaceable lens protector, while the Action 2 doesn't. The Action 2 is magnetic and can stick to your chest, something the Hero 10 can't do. It's much too big and heavy for that anyway. The Hero 10 has a front-facing built-in display, while the Action 2 has a modular front-facing display which snaps on. The Hero 10 is rugged and can handle a fair bit of abuse, aka action, while the Action 2 is more fragile, the exterior scratches easily, and the glass is not replaceable. For me, the user interface on the Action 2 is by far the better experience. It's snappier, it's simpler, and it's just a joy to use. The Hero 10, on the other hand, it's not bad, but I just don't like the interface as much. The screen is less responsive, and I don't like that the emphasis is on the user profiles. Changing video settings is more tedious and takes longer. But there are more things you can change, so if you want more control over your footage, it might be the better option. They both take photos. I think they both look fine. I don't think anyone cares. Moving on. Both cameras are amazing at stabilization. It's hard to say if one's better than the other because they're so similar, at least at the lower frame rates. They both offer horizon leveling, and the Hero 10 gives a slightly wider field of view in that mode. The Action 2 crops in just a little bit more. And the Action 2 is limited to 2.7K when recording with Horizon Steady on. Again, it's hard to say which is better. I'm more than happy with the quality on both, but the Hero 10 can record in higher resolution of 5.3K. Colors are a bit more saturated on the Action 2, but both cameras have a flatter profile that you can later grade to your preferences if you're willing to put in a bit more time in the edit. Both have good dynamic range for such small sensors, but in my experience, the Hero 10 tends to blow out the highlights more often than the Action 2. With stabilization turned on, both cameras struggle in low light, but I think more often than not, the Hero 10 produces the cleaner results. For the best results in low light, turn stabilization off, and if you can, use a gimbal. There are some very compact gimbals for this kind of purpose, like this one, which is absolutely tiny. They're both superb for slow motion shots, and both offer 4K at 120 frames per second with stabilization. The Hero 10 does have the better slow-mo video specs though, offering up to 240 frames per second in 2.7K. But I've noticed that sometimes the stabilization is less effective when shooting slow motion. In this shot, we're running along this wooden platform, and the Action 2 footage is a lot smoother. Both do nice and easy to set up time lapses and hyperlapses, but the Hero 10 recorded these in 4:3, whereas the Action 2 captured it in 16:9. Maybe I just didn't have my Hero 10 configured right, I'm not sure. This is a controversial topic that got fans of both cameras quite upset. When the Hero 10 was first released, there were reports of overheating, but by the time I received mine, those issues had more or less been fixed, and mine is never overheated during a shot. The Action 2 is a different story though. It overheats a lot faster than the Hero 10, and I did a series of videos testing this with several cameras side by side. I'll link that in the description. In demanding circumstances, the Action 2 can overheat in as little as 3 minutes. And people will say, yeah, but with real-world use, it won't overheat. And I sort of agree with that in the sense that if you're just recording short clips and you're outside with a little airflow, it's not going to overheat. But some people do use their action cameras indoors or in their car or in hot sunny weather. And the fact is, in those situations, it may overheat in 5, 10 or 15 minutes depending on your settings, especially the European models which have a lower maximum temperature shutoff. When I did my full Hero 10 review, link below, I said I found it to be very reliable, and I was so pleased to have a trouble-free experience after the nightmare that was my Hero 7. But then GoPro released a firmware update, and since then, reliability has taken a hit. I find myself having to remove the battery on a fairly regular basis because it freezes or the screen goes black or it won't turn on. After 10 iterations of the Hero, I'm just a bit sad that they still can't seem to make a stable camera. The Action 2, so far in my experience, has been more stable. It's not perfect as it has freaked out once or twice, but compared to the Hero 10, it's the camera I'd trust more, or it would be if not for the overheating thing. So, it's been a couple of months now, and what I've come to feel is that these cameras have more differences than I expected. The Hero 10 is a true action camera. It's tough, it's built for action, and it has replaceable parts should something go horribly wrong. With its bigger body, it dissipates heat better, and it has a higher resolution and slower slow motion. But it is big and heavy, and I don't like the interface so much. And it's more buggy than it should be at this stage for the world's most successful action camera. The Action 2 might have action in the name, but I think it was a mistake to call it that. It's a gorgeous piece of engineering, and I'm so impressed by its compact form. It's very small, and the magnetic design makes mounting and dismounting super fast. But it's just not built to be a survivor. It scratches and dents too easily, it doesn't have a replaceable lens protector or removable battery, and it overheats faster than any of my other cameras. It's also really expensive for the specs it offers. But it's tiny, it's more comfortable in my pocket, and I love the user interface. So I'm trying to decide which I think is the better camera, and I really just can't say, because their strengths and weaknesses are so different. Hopefully the footage and thoughts in this video will at least go some way in helping you decide which is the best choice for you. If you found this useful or interesting, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.